Currently, we are walking down Fox Chase Road, and we're going to visit the location of where 37-year-old country singer Mindy McCready tragically died. Mindy McCready was born November 30th, 1975 in Fort Myers, Florida. And she had sang in her church when she was about 3 years old. And of course, if you've listened to Mindy's music, then you know that she is a very, very talented singer, and she was a very beautiful woman. She had graduated high school purposely so she could pursue a career in music. So when she turned 18, she moved over to Nashville to pursue a music career. She would go on to sign with a record label, B&A Records. So in 1996, so she's about now, 21 years of age, she releases her debut album, 10,000 Angels. And it was a hit. It went double platinum. And you're a young woman, you're on top of the world, you got a hit album, they're playing your music on the radio, and she has everybody around her telling her you're gonna be a star, you're gonna be famous, you're super talented, you're beautiful, all this, that, and the third. However, with fame, with stardom, comes oftentimes people's personal demons. Now, her second album after that was considered a commercial failure. It only, I want to say, sold about 140,000 copies. Now, that's bad. She was later dropped from her label, and so she goes on to sign with Capitol Records. Now, I want to say that in total she had 5 albums, and maybe the third one went gold, but it didn't do the numbers of her first album. And in my personal opinion, it is definitely not because of her having no talent. Her music is good. I think it's very good anyways. Just things happen. It's very, very difficult to make it into the music world. There's a lot of competition because tens of thousands of people who are just as good a singer as you are and beautiful are vying for that stardom as well. So she would later go on to be dropped from Capitol Records. In total, she would release 5 albums. However, unfortunately, she got known more for her personal problems in her life than her actual music. She had been engaged to a man, I think his name was William McKnight, something along those lines, and they had a baby together. Very tumultuous relationship. He would eventually be arrested, and they at first charged him with attempted murder because he beat the living tar out of her. And then later on, they would lessen those charges. They would break up. They would get back together. And from then on out, you would have Mindy McCready spiraling through a world of drug addiction, alcoholism, and arrest. And she was arrested quite a number of times. She was arrested in August of 2004 for using a fake prescription to try to get pills. She was put on 2 years probation, and she was given 200 hours of community service. The following year, May 2005, she was stopped for speeding and was arrested for DUI and a suspended license. She took the case to trial, and they dropped the DUI charge. They just stuck her with the suspended license. After that, in July of 2005, so now it's only been a couple months, She was charged with identity theft in Arizona, unlawful use of transportation, unlawful imprisonment. And because of that arrest, and she was on probation from Tennessee, they put out a warrant for her arrest. She goes to Tennessee, she goes to jail, and, probably hold her for a day or two. She bails out, gets out, whatever. She would go on to get arrested in Florida in 2007 for battery and resisting arrest. I believe she was fighting with her mother. Eventually, the law gets tired of her getting in and out of trouble, and she's sentenced to a year in jail. She gets out of jail, and in June of 2008, was arrested again in Tennessee. So altogether, she had been arrested probably 6 or 7 times. I mean, this woman was a prototypical example of having so much talent, being so beautiful, but just having this iron grip of drug addiction, and coupling that with her possible mental illness. I mean, she was on Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew. Now, if you're a celebrity and you're going on that show, your career is not going where you probably would want it to go. And, having 5 albums and all of that music, if she wasn't so drug addicted, if she didn't have all of these personal problems, these personal demons, she could have easily been a multi-millionaire, and she could have toured for the rest of her life just off of doing music from those albums. And at the time of her death in 2013, I don't believe she was working. I don't believe she was doing any concerts. She wasn't recording music. I don't think she had released an album in about 3 years. Now, at the time, she was dating, I guess they were engaged. I'm not quite sure, but they ended up having a child together. Originally, when she first came out, she was engaged to actor Dean Cain. Of course, you probably know him from playing Superman on that TV show. I think it was called Lois and Clark or something like that. But she would later go on to date a record producer, and they had a child together. I think the guy's name was, David Wilson. I've never heard of him, but they were living together at the time. And they had a baby together. And a month before Mindy died, David was found dead on the front porch of their home, which they rented here where I'm walking to right now. This area is, I wouldn't say it's expensive. People here, like normal people, would be able to afford stuff like this. But yeah. You would have to turn around and head back that way. I know you make a left somewhere. I'm not sure. I think this might be like a dead end. But if you're trying to get out, over down the road back that way. You are very welcome. I thought they were going to tell me, like, what are you doing here? Anyways, so David Wilson was found dead on their porch. And about a month later, after that, Mindy McCready, probably, high on God knows what, and, drinking herself into oblivion, turned the gun, shot her dog, or David's dog, and then she tragically turned the gun on herself. before my interaction with those people back there, I was mentioning how this area is very, very nice. And you would think a very famous country singer like Mindy McCready would be either owning a home out here, or this would be, I guess you would consider, a vacation home. Some of these homes are worth almost $1 million. Probably the one right here to my left would be one of those $1 million homes. But you got to remember, Mindy hadn't been working for quite some time. So at the time her and David were living in this home, they were renting it. And when you don't have money coming in and you are doing a lot of drugs and you need money to pay for those drugs, well, you kind of know how that works. I mean, you could easily spend tens of thousands of dollars a month on a drug habit. That is the home right there where Mindy McCready tragically took her own life, right on that porch, right in the exact location where her fiance did 1 month previous. I'm imagining some of these neighbors here in the area heard gunshots. This is a pretty, very, very quiet neighborhood. So you're not going to hear many gunshots or, a lot of noise or whatever. And that is exactly where she was found dead. A very tragic ending to a very troubled life. Mindy could not shake the iron grip that drug addiction oftentimes has on its victims. Immensely talented, immensely beautiful, just a very, very sad ending. Couldn't shake loose the demons in her mind. Side note to this story, Mindy making very, very bad choices in her life. In 2010, an adult film company had released a home movie of Mindy having sex with a man that she was either dating or was her boyfriend at the time. I'm not really sure. Obviously, she's not going to sell her own tape. So I'm sure the guy probably just sold it to that company. A little bit of advice for the ladies out there. If you are dating somebody, if he wants to make a private tape with you and you're not into that kind of thing, that's a red flag to possibly, bare minimum, be very wary of this guy and possibly stay away. If you are a celebrity and, moving around in circles with people who are not celebrities, regardless of the fact of how her life kind of fell apart, she's still a celebrity. And when you are known throughout the world, you got to be very cautious of how you move, especially, and it's true, especially if you're a woman. You just got to be very, very careful. So Mindy, how I said in the beginning of the video, is from Fort Myers. And online, Find a Grave, which I want to say Find a Grave is correct about 85% of the time. The other 15, not really, or the information's jumbled. So it says that, she's probably more than likely buried in that area, or, whatever. And I had went to that cemetery and I searched for about an hour and I was unable to find her final resting place. And that was about 2 years ago. So I made it a point to at least come out here and, do the video. Because even though I'm not a fan of country music, I like her songs. I like her music. She's a very good singer. And, I pretty much said it earlier in the video. I mean, she could have easily had just been a successful person just off of her craft, but just decided to end it all. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm hitting the road. I'm going north. Way too hot down here. So who knows? Maybe I'll be coming through a town near you. I will see you on the next video. At least I hope to. Have a good one, guys. God bless. Peace out.